Hi, I'm Chef Sally Cameron.
And I'm Chef Mareya Ibrahim.
And we're signature chefs for the Daniel Plan. Can you believe we've been doing this for almost 10 years?
I know,
It's
whole
gone so
decade.
fast.
Incredible.
I know. So anyway, today we're here to talk with you about the do's and the don'ts of detox.
And we were talking, and we think that at home you might be saying, detox. That sounds scary and intimidating, but it really isn't. It's just about resetting and really pausing to think about where we want to go for the rest of the year, starting with a clean slate. And maybe, you overindulged around the holidays. Maybe you kind of took some liberties, which we all did, and we probably all should have, because that's what you do around the holidays.
Right.
But now's the time to push that reset button. And we're going to talk about that in detail today. What you should be doing and maybe what you should be avoiding.
Right, and really, like Mareya was saying, it's a great time. Think of it as a recalibration or a time to reboot your system. Detox is kind of a scary word because there's a lot of crazy ways out there that people detox.
Yeah.
But the Daniel Plan way of doing a detox, of course, it was written by Dr. Hyman, but it's safe and it's gentle and it's a good way to go. It's just really a chance for your body for you to listen to your body and maybe let go of some things that aren't serving you, and also to understand maybe some hidden food sensitivities or the things that are getting in the way of you being the healthiest you can be this year.
Yeah, and I think, let's break down what detoxification means. It's really about your organs, the organs that are filtration organs in your body. That's your kidney and your liver and your skin. I mean, our skin is our largest organ. So imagine we're exposed to all kinds of toxins every single day, from pollution to water contamination to toxins in food and beverages. Even stress can create toxins in our bodies. So even if you are a person saying, well, I'm pretty healthy, I take care of myself, it's almost unavoidable. It's in our environment and it's everywhere we breathe. So I like to do this personally on a quarterly basis. I think it's a great way to kick off every new season. So this is the perfect time to kick off the year.
Absolutely. And like Mareya was saying too, a detox, if you've never done one, it seems like a bit of a scary word, but it's not. We're going to help you understand not only why a detox is good, but we're going to give you some tips, and we've got all kinds of notes and things here for you.
Yeah.
But I know in the last 10 years, we have heard just thousands of success stories from people who have done the Daniel Plan detox and how it has helped them to identify things that really were giving them problems. Maybe it was gluten, maybe it was dairy. There's many different things, and like Mareya was saying, it's inescapable today that our environment is so filled with toxins, and our systems do get overloaded. So this is a great way to give your body a break and get on a new path.
Yeah, and what I love is we've really spelled it out in the Daniel Plan book in so much great detail. So after you hang out with us today for this time together, we really encourage you to grab your copy of the Daniel Plan, and if you don't have it, this book is really indispensable. I go back to it all the time myself. And check out the section on detoxing. And there's actually a survey in here, which I think is so brilliant. It's on page 296, and it really goes through a lot of the symptoms. And we thought we might just go over those symptoms with you, and you can just make a mental check, or you can write it down if you want. But are you feeling nausea? Have you had any diarrhea, constipation? I know that might sound like TMI, but we're just trying to get to the root of the problem here. Are you feeling bloated? Have you had heartburn? And that's that painful feeling where it literally feels like somebody's standing on your chest because your digestion is not working the way it's supposed to. Have you had intestinal or stomach pain? Do you feel run down? Sometimes it shows up in your skin because, like I said, your skin is your largest organ. You might have some itchy spots. You might be breaking out.
Energy too. I mean, is your energy level where you want it to be? Are your joints hurting?
Yeah.
There are so many things, and if you go through the questionnaire, I mean, it's actually pretty long and pretty detailed, and you go through and you put your numbers in and then you total them up. And the good thing is then you can go back to the same thing at the end of your detox and check off how much better you feel. And it's a really great way to track, how far you have come and the progress that you've made. And also, journal. We'll tell you throughout this journal. Be sure that you write down what you're eating, how you're feeling, and all that kind of stuff. It'll help.
Yeah, and I think, it's interesting. I had a situation where, I had a really severe health emergency, and I eat well and I take care of myself, but every once in a while something like that can hit you, and you have to take inventory and just take a moment and go, what did I do? Recount what you've done. And that's where a daily food log and habits log is so important. What Sally is saying about writing it down, you may not even realize that you've done something or you've changed your habits where it can have a huge impact. I gotta tell you, I had a situation where I was on 2 courses of antibiotics because I had an infection, and it wiped out my gut bacteria, the good bacteria that you need to build your immunity. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that, because your gut health is so critically important to your immunity. But I went out to eat with my family.
I remember when that happened.
I had one shrimp, okay? I've never had a shrimp allergy in my entire life. And it was not an allergic reaction to that. It was an allergic reaction to the toxins in the shrimp. Okay, one shrimp put me in the emergency room. That's how severe it can be. That's the impact that toxins can have on our body and just push us into overload. We want to try and avoid that as much as we can.
Right. And the good thing about the Daniel Plan Detox is when you get used to eating the fresh whole foods and the things that we're going to talk about, it's always a place for you to fall back on when you wander off the path a little bit. And we all do, especially like Mareya was saying at the holidays, right? It's a little bit of an indulgence here and there, and it's nice. But then you can get back on track and remind yourself how you should be eating. And that's one thing you do learn through doing the Daniel Plan Detox, is you really do learn how to eat in a much healthier way. But you were talking about what's more important right now than your immune system. I mean,
nothing.
Immune health is everything today and has been for the last year. And you might say, well, why does food matter with my immune system? And that's because 70% of your immune system is around your gut. So food has a huge impact on your immune system and how healthy you are.
It's tremendous. It really is. And I think, when we look at detoxing, I think it's really important that we focus on all the things that we can do instead of the things that we can't do or maybe we should be avoiding. But before we get into this, I really want to emphasize something to you. I want you to take a look at what you're doing when you have symptoms, okay? Let's just take reflux, for example, or indigestion. Instead of maybe eliminating foods, are you a person, there's no judgment here, okay? Because we've all been there, but are you a person that then goes to your medicine cabinet and takes something to help with a reflux versus looking at what's causing it in the first place? I think this is where taking inventory of maybe what your triggers are and having that log will be indispensable. Did you know that in a lot of cases, maybe that reflux, instead of popping a pill or taking something like over the counter, you might be able to relieve that just by drinking raw apple cider vinegar on a regular basis? I mean, think about that. That is nature's way of giving you that boost. And by the way, it's a great thing for your probiotic punch too, and for your gut health. So I'm just saying, we're going to be discussing that, but there's a lot more detail in the book for you to refer back to. And this is really your manual for health right here.
Yeah, and understanding your triggers becomes really important. I know that about a year or 2 years ago now, I was diagnosed with, I have a mast cell, MCAS, which is a mast cell issue, and also histamine intolerance. And what I had to do when that storm in my food storm happened in my life, I had to learn my triggers. And once I did, I've learned to manage it, and I've learned how to stay, clean and detoxed and all that, and keep my histamine levels down. But it's through journaling that it really happened, and falling back on the Daniel Plan, which helped me go, okay, now what am I doing, and what am I eating, and what's happening? So it's important.
Yeah, and I think what's really exciting is if you watch the Daniel Plan kickoff, we're doing this because we want to be in the best possible shape so that we can thrive, that we can be a pillar of support for our families, that we can run around with our kids and our grandkids and show up for people and for our savior
Yeah,
in the
for
best way
serving.
possible. We are serving with our bodies, with our minds, with our spirits. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're bloated, if you're feeling lethargic, if you're feeling run down, if you're having all these physical issues, the only thing you're going to want to do is sit on the couch. And that's just not serving in the way you were designed to do. So that should be our big why across the board, you know, to have that energy to be the best, in the best possible shape that we can be.
So let's talk about what the detox really is. It's just a temporary time that you set aside. Maybe it's 10 days or 14 days or 30 or 40 days, depending on how you feel. A lot of people keep going.
Yeah.
You just set aside things like gluten, sugar, caffeine, alcohol, white bread, white sugar, dairy. What else is on the list?
A lot
fast
of
food,
all of that is
processed
in the
food, all that stuff.
Basically, if it's processed, if it has artificial ingredients,
You don't want
I mean, I'm telling you, the diet soda, it's got to go. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because it's diet and it doesn't have any calories in it, it's actually doing more harm to your body than drinking something with sugar in it, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
So all the artificial chemicals, preservatives, colors, take inventory of your pantry. This is a great time. I did this on New Year's Day. I went
Clean
through
out
my
your pantry.
because the kids harbor the candy in there, by the way. I've got 5 kids, okay? And there's all kinds of stuff popping up at any given time. So I gotta
You're the food police. Yeah.
well, you know, I'm lenient around the holidays and then it's time to purge. But take inventory of what is in your pantry and what's in your fridge.
And freezer.
And clean out. You know, it's time to clean out. And don't donate it to the food bank because they don't want it either.
Absolutely.
All right, just get rid of it. Let's start
get rid
clean.
of it.
And there's a shopping list in the Daniel Plan book that will help you focus on those pantry staples. You can lean into your pantry in a big way, but just stock up on the things that are healthful, that are natural, that don't have all of these artificial preservatives. And the same thing for your kitchen.
Yeah.
And you're an artist, okay? An artist needs a palette, an artist needs its tools.
Yeah.
You are creating art that you can enjoy with all 5 senses, and that is what we're going to talk about next. The do's.
Definitely.
Let's
the
do
do's.
this, you
so
know?
when you do your pantry, freezer, fridge kind of clean out, you know, read the labels like a hawk, get rid of the stuff. And what you're doing is you're really eliminating the temptation, because what you don't want to do is cheat. That's one of the don'ts. Don't cheat and don't give up.
Pastor Rick talks about willpower all the time. Like, our willpower is not something that we can easily lean into and rely on.
Now, God's willpower is always there.
Yes.
Our willpower does fail. So get rid of the temptations, get rid of the bad stuff, and then fill in with the good stuff, the stuff that's going to heal, the stuff that's going to help, the foods that are good, and get rid of the foods that harm. That's one of the things we talk a lot about in the Daniel Plan. So that's what the detox is going to do for you. And one thing, like, if you are, for example, a real hardcore coffee drinker, I remember one guy that I was corresponding with the first time, 10 years ago when the Daniel Plan kicked off, and he was doing the detox. He was a 12-cup-a-day coffee drinker. That's a lot of coffee, like a whole pot of coffee every day. And he was really caffeine addicted.
Oh, yeah.
And as he started the detox, it was very hard for him. He tried to cold turkey it, and he really felt bad. And I said, what you need to do, if you have a habit like that, and like Mareya said, no judgment here.
Yeah.
But, you know, try and bring yourself down. Cut it in half for a few days, and then cut it down, things like that, too. And it'll be a little bit easier on you.
And the beautiful thing is there are a lot of swaps for the things that are on the no-fly list, okay? So if you're talking about gluten, we're going to cut gluten out, but, you know, there's a lot of replacements for gluten. You can still have things like black rice, for example, that are gluten-free in small quantities.
Quinoa is gluten-free.
Exactly.
It's great. Brown rice.
Yeah,
So-
instead of the caffeine, you know, trying caffeine-free tea, there's even coffees that are made with mushrooms that are great for your immunity, chicory-based coffees that don't have any caffeine. So we encourage you to also take a look at your local grocery store or shop online and look for those alternatives. And we're happy to help too. If you have any questions, we're here to answer as well. But I think we live in a great time where there are a lot of swaps that never make you feel like you're deprived.
That's right. And that's what the Daniel Plan and the Daniel Plan Detox is really about. This is not about deprivation. This is really, truly about abundance. And as you get through the detox and you learn and listen to your body and you learn some ways that maybe food that you're eating hasn't been serving you well, and you start to gain energy, you start to feel less fatigued, your digestion starts to smooth out, your joints don't ache as much. And you'll be like, wow, I want to keep feeling this way. And you'll keep going with your newfound foods.
And I will tell you this from personal experience. When you start eating the Daniel Plan way, you will completely remap your brain. Okay, because you are going to be eating an abundance of fruit and vegetables, mostly non-starchy vegetables, all the lettuce, all the radish, all the all the asparagus you can eat. I mean, there really is an abundant list of foods that you can enjoy, and there's no limit, okay? I double dog dare you to eat 2 pounds of broccoli.
That's a lot of broccoli.
Don't do that. I'm just saying, don't do that, but I'm just saying you won't be able to do it. And that's where we're saying there are lots of different colorful options, and here's what I believe. I believe that if we eat with the rainbow, that is God's gift to us. I mean, literally, like, just think about the abundance of food in all of the colors of the rainbow. And if you lead that way, you can't go wrong. I mean,
and, you know, we've all heard, like, eat the rainbow. And it's like, what does that really mean? Well, what God did with the rainbow of foods that we have is all those colors are phytonutrients that are in the food. And when you eat a wide array of the beautiful produce and colors that are in the store, or at your farmer's market, or wherever you're buying, you know, your produce, you're getting this wide variety of health benefits.
Yeah. So what else can you eat on the Daniel Plan? You're like, let's get to it here. What can I have? What can I have? Okay. What you can have is basically any non-starchy vegetable. Okay. That's definitely a must. And to Sally's point, I mean, everything actually helps a different part of your body. So the more variety, the better. And I challenge you, if you go to the store and you see something, you're like, I've never had that before. Try it.
Yeah.
I mean,
try it.
What's the worst that can happen? You're like, I didn't like it that way. Well, try it a different way.
Yeah.
I got some jicama the other day, and I've never baked jicama.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never. I always eat it raw. And I baked it with some other root vegetables. It was delicious. I really enjoyed it. So try it different ways and try different things.
Yeah. And what you were saying is, like, all the years that I was cooking for private clients, what I found most of the time is that when they said, well, I don't like that, and I'm like, well, how did you have it prepared?
Always.
And they would tell me, and I'd say, well, I wouldn't like that either.
Yeah.
So, like Mareya was saying, try something new and try it in different ways. I mean, be experimental, and you're going to find some great new things that you didn't know that you really love that are good for you.
Yeah, if canned spinach has been your only experience with spinach, I hate to tell you, like, you've been misled.
Yeah, definitely.
It just doesn't, it's a different animal.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I had a friend who hated Brussels sprouts, hated them. And until I made them for him the way I do them, and he's like, oh, these are really good. I'm like, see?
Same with beets.
Yeah. Oh, I love beets.
If you've had just canned beets, like, they're
pickled.
kind of slimy, roast them. I'm telling you, different animal. So,
I even put them raw in smoothies, and they're awesome. I put them in little tiny cubes.
Oh, yeah.
And I puree them in smoothies with some raspberries or some blueberries.
And they add that beautiful pop of color.
Oh,
and pretty food just makes you
happy.
It does. So all the non-starchy vegetables you can stomach. You do get to eat some starchy vegetables. We just want you to do it in a little bit more moderation. So you can have the sweet potatoes, and you can have the carrots, and you can have the root vegetables like beets and all those things, and lots of lean protein. What's your favorite lean protein?
Probably white fish. A nice mild white fish is like petroli sole, or like halibut or cod, or, you know, kind of white fish. That's what I really love. Or, you know, who doesn't like good old basic chicken? We do eat a lot of chicken, but I love chicken.
Yeah.
So.
I'm like on this total mackerel kick. And you can find mackerel. I'm telling you guys, you can actually really lean into canned seafood. If you're not finding it fresh and you enjoy adding seafood to your everyday, which is a great source of omega-3s and those good fatty acids that you need for your brain function and basically to just hold it all together. I love that. And we always have white anchovies, we have sardines, we have mackerel, we have wild-caught tuna.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Those
I'm
are great
quite
things
that
to lean
brave,
into.
but you know, it's okay. In fact, I actually
like it.
did get some sardines, and I'm going to try them. I will, just because you said so.
I love them. I love them.
But healthy fats. So you're going to eat lean proteins. You're going to eat healthy quality fats. Fat is not a 4-letter word. Fat is not bad. But let's talk about good fats real quick. So you're going to, focus on avocado oil, coconut oil, and extra virgin olive oil, and that's really about all I cook with, and that's what's really the Daniel Plan is based around. If you have anything else, like if you have good old vegetable oil in the pantry, please throw it out immediately when this is done.
Yeah,
because it's bad for you. It's toxins. It's toxic.
And the oils, it's important to kind of also keep your oil in moderation. Even though good fats are good for you, oil is going to add a lot of calories into your food. So think about eating whole sources of fat too. So your nuts, your seeds, sprinkling. I like to put just some like the golden flaxseed on my oatmeal in the morning.
I grind them. I grind
great
2
source of
tablespoons
fat.
and put it in smoothies every single day.
Yeah, love that. And it adds a nice crunch when you need that texture. And you can even lean into some nut butters too. So you can have, I like sun butter. I'm really excited about sun butter these days.
Yeah. I like tahini. Tahini is a really good one, and especially if you have a nut allergy, tahini is good because it's basically sesame seed paste, and that's a safe one. So if you're thinking, oh, I have a nut allergy and that's not going to work for me, there's always ways to work around things, and pumpkin seeds are another really good one, and they're so good for you.
Yeah, so run the gamut of seeds and nuts. One tradition that we're bringing back into our family that my dad raised us with is whole nuts and cracking them.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
we
it's
used to
kind of
do that
fun.
Too.
Yeah,
yeah,
sit
especially
around the
with
fire.
walnuts. We used to do that. All right.
It's fun stuff.
So
what else?
I've got any notes here. We're going to check our notes really quick. We took so many notes for you that we had stuff to share with.
Let's talk about non-dairy real quick.
Oh yeah, definitely
alternatives to dairy, because I think that dairy is one of those things where people are like, well, what's wrong with dairy? Well, for some people, they can have as much dairy as they want and it doesn't create a sensitivity. But for a growing number of the population, there is bloating, there is, some indigestion and things like that. Lots of wind.
Lots of wind. But about 60 to 70% of the world population supposedly is dairy sensitive. And if you've eaten dairy all of your life, you won't know unless you give it up for a couple of weeks and see how you feel. And that's really what the detox is all about. Giving up some things that you may have just automatically included in your diet and not known that maybe were giving you an issue. So when you do the detox, dairy's a big one, gluten's a big one, but you can use almond milk, you can use oat milk, you can use, there are a lot of different alternatives these days to dairy. There are wonderful non-dairy butters. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do.
Yeah, and dairy is a source of natural sugar. So in the detox, we're really trying to limit any caloric sugar whatsoever. Even honey, agave,
Maple,
all those things are often used in recipes that are considered natural, but for the detox, we're going to eliminate those as well.
Yeah, just eat really clean and really light and really fresh for a couple of weeks, and you will not believe how good you feel. And journal. Write down what you're eating and write down how you're feeling, and then you will see your progress. And like we were talking about earlier, you don't do this alone, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Get a detox buddy. Plug into your small group, even if it's a virtual online group these days, or you do a Zoom together, however you're communicating, because, of the social, physical distancing thing and the safety, but don't do it alone.
Yeah. I led one of the test groups for the Daniel Plan, and for 6 weeks we met and we went through the different modules, and I have to tell you, the thing that people came out of it with that impacted them the most was the feeling of community and being able to plug in together right now more than ever. It doesn't have to be in person. And being able to come out on the other side of doing this program is going to feel so empowering. I mean, I still keep in touch with a lot of them, and they're just like, remember when? That was so great.
I know. And that's, friends is one of the 5 pillars. It's one of the 5 essentials. So that's why it is, because, like the Bible says, you're traveling with a buddy and you fall down, you can help each other up and all that. It's really true, especially when you're going through the detox. Everybody's going to experience the detox differently. We're all biologically individual. We all come from different places. Our diets have been different, where our health is in a different place. So it's going to be a different experience for everyone. And everybody in your group probably will have a different experience, but you can be there to encourage and to help. One day you're having a good day and somebody's not having a good day, and you can lift them up, and then vice versa. So find a buddy.
Yeah. And as you're going through the program, very, very important, and this, again, is all in the book, but one thing I have to say is hydration.
Yes,
Woo,
really
okay.
critical.
Imagine, you're like literally releasing toxins that maybe have been stored up in your body for years, decades perhaps. And with that, we need to flush them out. We want them out of your body, out of your system. And they're either gonna come out through your skin, they're gonna come out through elimination. And we want them out. So hydration is going to help to encourage that. And, you know, so you're saying how much water should I have? A great rule of thumb is take your weight, so your weight in pounds, cut that in half, and try and drink that much water or clear liquids in ounces every single day. So simple math, 150 pounds, 75 ounces.
Right.
And that should be your goal. And a great way to do this and accomplish it is get yourself a water bottle. I'm giving you license to buy a water bottle, okay? And get one that is basically, if you fill it up twice, or maybe even once, you can buy one of those jumbo ones. Then that gets you where you need to be. And then you can mark it off and say that's part of your goals.
I have one with a loop on it, and I know if I get through 2.5 to 3 of those a day, I'm good. And if I don't use my bottle, I lose track of how much water I've had. So I just carry it around room to room, in my car, everywhere, but that will really help to kind of check it off for you. And like Mareya was also saying, is let's talk about a little bit of kind of detox things beyond food. So hydration is really critical. Light exercise during the detox. Get out, walk, get some fresh air.
Vitamin D.
Sweat. Yeah, the vitamin D from the sun or supplementing. Get a sweat up, because like Mareya was saying with our skin, that's one of the ways we detox. Make sure that you're getting enough fiber. If you're getting all your fruits and vegetables in, and seeds and things, you will be getting enough fiber so that your elimination is good. That's a big way toxins come out. If you happen to have access to like a sauna or something where you can really sweat, that's a great way to go too. But look at some of those kind of lifestyle practices that will support your detox when you're focusing on detoxing with food.
Yeah, and you know, if you're in a climate where getting outside is challenging right now, I'm telling you, I've really leaned into online workouts. I love them. I actually really enjoy them now. And everything from yoga to HIIT workouts. I mean, as moderate or as, you know, kind of turbo as you want to go. There's really a wealth of exercises. And the Daniel Plan. Let's go back to the Daniel Plan. Daniel Plan Fitness is amazing, and there are so many resources. So plug into the Daniel Plan website to find out what you can, you know, maybe explore for the first time. It's really fun to try different workouts.
Just get up and move. That's the most important thing. And talking about resources, there are a lot of resources for you with the Daniel Plan. Look on the website, get into the social groups that are there to support you too. So plug into the resources so you're not alone. Now, do we want to
Can I say one more thing about detoxing?
Sure.
You might not feel good. Okay? Let's I mean,
honestly,
I think we need to be honest.
Yeah.
You might not feel good during the detox, but we really encourage you to hang on. That means your body is doing what it's supposed to be doing. When it releases toxins, you know, you may feel foggy. You may feel like you have a headache. Some days you may literally feel like you can't, your joints are just, and it's okay, because you're going to come out on the other side feeling that much better, but that means your body's doing the work. And I really believe, like, when you're in the middle of a workout and you want to give up because you're in pain and you're sweating and you're just like, oh my gosh, what is this? But keep going, because once you get to the other side, you're going to be like, I am so glad that I did this.
So give yourself some grace too. When you're going through the detox, if you can take a little nap, if you're a little bit tired, cut yourself some slack. Give yourself some grace, because your body is, throwing off the stuff that is not good, and you'll feel better in the long run.
And you just said the magic word, rest. Sleep is part of detoxification, okay? If you're burning the midnight oil all the time and sleeping is something that you think you should do when you're dead, it's going to accelerate that path, okay? So sleep is critically important. Your body is doing some major work. Make sure you're getting proper rest, and try not to sleep too late, because the studies show that after 10:30 you're not getting the benefit even if you get 8 hours as you would if you're going to bed before 10:30.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if Dr. Amen were here, he would say, sleeping at night, good quality sleep is when your brain detoxes.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's when your brain heals. So,
Yes.
you know, good quality sleep is really, really important. Well, now that we've talked with you about what a detox is and the things you're going to be eating and not eating and ways to stay healthy and journaling and all of that, we're going to shift over here and do some food for you real quick. Now, this is a curried cauliflower soup, so great way to get lots of veggies in. And I've had this in the Instant Pot this morning. But if you don't have an Instant Pot or a pressure cooker, don't worry about it. You can certainly do it on the stovetop as well. So in here you can see it's all golden now, but it's a large head of cauliflower, or it comes down to about 2 cups of the florets. You core it, break them apart. I wash it with my produce wash, which is e-cleaner. A great way to get the pesticides and toxins off of your veggies when you're eating them. So then it's also a cup of chopped onion, a cup of chopped leek, 2 garlic cloves, 2 teaspoons of a mild curry powder, a little salt and pepper, and 2 cups of chicken broth. Now, if you are vegan or vegetarian, you can also use vegetable broth, works fine. And when I puree it, I'm going to make it creamy and rich with a cup of coconut milk. So if coconut milk doesn't agree with you, if you have a nut allergy, you can use another form of a non-dairy milk. Now, you know, coconut milk is very rich and thick, so the soup might not be quite as thick, but it's still going to taste absolutely delicious. So do what works best for you. The recipe is on the front page of my website right now, foodcentriclife.com, and if you have any questions, you can always comment on that, and I will get back to you. So in here, I just let this go. It went for 5 minutes in the Instant Pot. That's how fast it goes.
It smells so good, Sally.
It's that curry powder.
And I love that you have the onions and the garlic in there, because those are really potent prebiotics.
Yes.
You know, for the probiotics to work, you have to make sure you're getting prebiotics, and that comes from fiber and things like garlic and onions. So
yeah. The
really important.
prebiotics feed the probiotics, and the probiotics are the good guys. Okay,
That's
so
the immunity boosters.
You want to keep them fed.
Smells so good.
You know, anything with curry powder, of course. Anything with curry powder is also very anti-inflammatory because it has turmeric in it, and turmeric is a natural anti-inflammatory spice. So
food is medicine. It
it's
really
so
is.
true.
But you know what?
So
I
true.
don't like the word medicine. I think we need to come up with
something.
Food is
life.
Life.
All right. So I'm gonna make a little noise here. Okay, so that's not too bad.
Magic.
I know. So this soup is really thick. You can always thin it down too. If it gets too thick on you, then just add a little bit of water. You can make it as thick or as thin as you want.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful, and it even freezes. So, and this will last in the fridge about 4 or 5 days. So you can make it ahead on the weekend. It's a great prep ahead, meal prep kind of a thing, and then just eat it and enjoy it. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of these purees, especially during the cold weather months, because if you're hungry and you're ready to eat something and your appetite is just like,
So if you can see, look at the color of this. I mean, it's just so good, right? It's nice and thick and rich. It's so good for you. So this is a quick and easy soup that you can do that is detox approved.
Sally, I'm super excited to try your soup.
Oh, it's really good, and everybody's going to have to try it. When we're done here, we'll pour a little bit and we'll taste it.
I love it. It smells so good. All right, next, I'm going to show you how to make my Real Vitality Tonic. And we were talking about caffeine and the grip that caffeine can have on us. During the detox, we're eliminating caffeine. So what do you wake up to in the morning that you can look forward to? It's this drink. And the great thing about it is it contains ingredients that are so functional for your overall health. So it has raw apple cider vinegar, which is amazing for your gut health because it's fermented. It also contains fresh ginger and cinnamon, which are anti-inflammatories, and again, great for overall health and managing cortisol and inflammatory disease. And a little bit of a little cinnamon stick swirl, and it's just so easy to make. And this is something that you can have morning, afternoon, or evening, and it won't keep you up at night, which is really important. This is in my book, The Real Dish on Eating to Thrive. So I've just taken some ginger root. You just want to peel the skin off and just grate about a tablespoon worth.
It smells so good.
Just the smell of ginger, right?
Is so good, and
Yeah.
it's so good for your digestion.
And we're just going to put that in our little strainer. And if you don't have one of these, just any kind of strainer would be a good idea.
How about one of those little tea strainers?
Yeah, you could
stick
do a
leaves
tea
in?
strainer too. Absolutely. I'm going to do a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I'm just going to shake it up a little bit. And here's the thing that I want to just emphasize. If you've never had raw apple cider vinegar, start slow, okay? I'm not going to try and deceive you and say it's so delicious. It can be pretty aggressive at first, but just give it a chance. And before you know it, you'll actually really enjoy having it. So a tablespoon of that. And then I'm just going to add a little spoon of the cinnamon in here, because I'm going to add my cinnamon stick in there too. And
looks delicious. Smells great.
yeah, and you can also add a squeeze of lemon. So if the apple cider vinegar doesn't bother you, maybe you're used to drinking it, do a little squeeze of lemon in there as well, and that will just add to the benefit.
Yeah, flavor and benefits both.
And the vitamin C. We're just going to pour right over it.
Yum.
Has a nice, pretty color. And this will naturally help to detoxify your system as well.
Now, do you have to let this steep, or can you drink it right away?
You can drink it right away, but the longer you let it steep, the better. The more flavor infused it's going to be.
Oh wow, that cinnamon
a
is
little
like,
bit,
whew.
a little bit more.
Smells good.
I like to leave it for about a minute.
Okay.
But you could do 5 minutes. Just let the ginger kind of settle in there. And if you don't have fresh ginger, you could use ginger powder, just about half the amount. But kind of swirl that around. And this is something that you can sip on all day. And I want to give you a little tip. When it comes to food and digestion, you want to avoid drinking cold liquids with your food, because what happens when fat gets cold, it gets solid.
Congeals.
Okay, and it will do that in your system too. And it's got over 30 feet to go to get through your body. So in order to avoid indigestion or issues with that, especially with fatty foods, you want to drink warm liquids with your food and save the cold liquids for in between.
Right.
It can actually help to boost your metabolism if you drink very cold liquids in between, but avoid doing that with your food.
Good tip.
I find that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I don't drink ice anything. I don't drink cold anything. Everything's pretty much kind of room temp. Unless it's 100 degrees outside, then I'll grab something.
And
cold.
a lot of cultures do that, you
Yeah.
know. You look at Asian cultures in their cuisine and they're always drinking tea with their food. So add your little cinnamon stick and sip
Yum.
away.
That smells good.
It's so nourishing and nurturing at the same time. And I think that's the big shift with the Daniel Plan is everything that you do is about the benefit that it's going to give your body.
Yeah, it's all nourishing. It's all about taking care of yourself, nourishing your tummy, nourishing your soul, nourishing your family. It's all good, and that smells delicious. And it's, like you said, if you're used to getting up and having a hot cup of coffee in the morning, this is a great alternative that's really healthy and one that you can just add to your repertoire. So as you are going through the detox and you find new things like this, new recipes that you want to add, be sure that you put them in your journal and, you know, remember the new stuff that you're learning, that you're adding to your repertoire. Repertoire is what will save you on busy weeks when you don't have to think about what am I going to cook, what am I going to drink.
Yeah.
You just know you've got some things to lean back on.
Even serves as a straw.
Have you tried that? No, I don't
Not when it's hot.
no. Anyway, okay. Right.
So I invented a way to be able to remove toxins from your fresh produce. And this is a really important step because a lot of us are eating more raw produce, and raw produce is very good for you because you're preserving the enzymes and the vitamins and the integrity of the food. But you have to be aware that all food is sprayed, it's handled, it is touched by all different things, and we want to make sure that your produce is as safe as possible.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I've got some blueberries here. It's really easy to use. You can find it on our website at eatcleaner.com. It comes in a spray form. It also comes in a powder form. So if you're doing your meal prep in the beginning of the week, which we really encourage in the Daniel Plan, you can get all of your produce washed at once, and then it's ready when you are, because the wash helps it last up to 5 times longer.
Yeah, and what I do is when I'll get home with, because I'm really into juicing also, which is something we haven't really taught in the Daniel Plan, but like green juicing, and I will get all of my vegetables home, and I'll fill up a sink, I'll use the powder, and I'll wash them all at once so that they're meal prepped and cleaned, and then put them in the fridge and they're ready to go for either snacking or juicing, whatever else you want.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at how much longer the produce lasts.
It really truly does. I mean, I can attest to that because I've used this for many, many years. In fact, right when I met Mareya, she handed me a bottle and I was like, okay. But I love it. I'm never without it. But the thing is, too, a lot of people say, well, I'm just going to use vinegar and water, but it just doesn't really clean your produce. It doesn't do a good enough job. You need an agent to actually clean your food.
Yeah, and this is it's a patented, all-natural, and safe wash. It'll remove up to 99.9% of the stuff that you can't remove with water alone.
Right.
So all you do is spray your produce. You can see how nice and shiny they just pop. Leave it on for about 2 minutes like I just did, and then put it in a colander and rinse with water.
Yep.
You can do this for all your produce and especially for leafy greens.
Oh,
and this is what I recommend because leafy greens are the #1 cause of foodborne illness. You're just going to chop your lettuce or your Swiss chard or your spinach,
Kale.
whatever you have, kale, cut it into ribbons like this or whatever is bite size for you. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to spray all your lettuce. And Sally, if you could hand me the colander. I like to do this on a big cutting board just like this so I make sure I get everything. Again, you can also use the powder because the powder allows you to wash a lot of produce all at once.
You know, I have a big square colander that actually fits in my sink, and I'll dump all my produce in there and do it, and that works. So find out what works for you with the tools that you have.
Yeah, and then after you wash it, you'll let it sit for 2 minutes. You'll give it a quick rinse under the sink. And then what I recommend to get the longest amount of shelf life possible, let it air dry or just blot it with some paper towels.
Spin it dry, you could do that.
Yeah, you can spin it dry. Just make sure it's dry before you put it back in the refrigerator. Put it in clear containers. I like the glass ones with the little snap lock tops. And then you can see what's in your fridge.
Yeah.
If you create a salad bar scenario in your refrigerator, you will guarantee eat more produce because that's what you will snack on. You'll reach for the blueberries, you'll reach for the carrots and the celery and those little mini bell peppers and cucumbers that I love. And that will become your mainstay. And that's a much better thing to lean into than chips.
And especially when you're doing the detox, you're going to be adding a lot more fresh produce into your diet. So this becomes not only an important step in terms of making sure that your food is clean and healthy, but also that it's ready to go in the fridge when you want it and you're hungry.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay.
So do we get to try your soup
now? Yeah, let's
now?
do some of the soup. Okay.
Well, while Sally serves us some amazing soup, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in and being with us here today, learning about the do's and don'ts of detox. We have a lot more information for you on the website at thedanielplan.com.
Right.
And we also encourage you to join the Facebook group if you're not following it already, because you can ask us questions all the time.
Yeah, there's a whole group of people that are, in the Daniel Plan. It's a like-minded community. It's supportive. We pray for each other, and it's run by Tina Lorenzana. She does an awesome job in terms of just, making sure everybody's on track with it. So be sure to plug into the Daniel Plan Facebook
because we're always
community.
We are
and
always
we
better
jump in
together.
and answer questions. If you need a questions answered, we're there too. We can answer questions for you. It's a great way to connect.
All right. Cheers.
Hey, cheers. Woo.
Cheers to you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yummy.
It's
so
good, huh?
creamy.
I know. It's so
oh
good.
yeah, that's great.